This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Opetaia here in Saudi Arabia. Joy, you've had a busy day or so of travelling. How are you finding your adjustment back to Riyadh?
All good, man. It's good to be back. It's been a big couple of days, but good to be a part of this big fight night.
Obviously, back in the city where you regained a title where, for many people, you were wrongly had to vacate it. What's it like now, less than, just under 2 weeks on from that night back here, running it back with Mairis Briedis? Chance to reflect. How do you look back on that victory now?
Yeah, big fight. Not my best performance, but I feel like it's a big learning curve. We got the win. We get to look back and we learn from our mistakes and we move forward and we get better.
How do you assess your performance? It seemed to kind of fall into a little bit of a similar theme to how the first fight went.
Yeah. Man, it was weird how the fight sort of panned out. It wasn't what I was expecting, especially from the start. I was expecting him to be a lot more aggressive and come forward. He was very cagey. He wasn't really giving me much to work off. But two good fighters. It was a chess match. And I felt like it was anything he was throwing to sort of fucking take your head off. So it was a dangerous fight. But it was good. When I look back at it, I see a lot of holes that I know I can fix. So.
How important for you was it to kind of close the Mairis Briedis chapter in your career now?
Yeah, it's good. Man, I used to watch this dude so much. Coming up through the rankings and stuff like that. Like it was good that now it's done, and he earned my respect. I earned his respect. So we can put it behind us, and I can look forward now.
Eddie said that he still sees Mairis Briedis as the number 2 cruiserweight in the world, obviously behind yourself. You shared ring with him twice. He's obviously achieved a lot in his career. I know you're chasing world titles and other champions, but would you agree that Briedis, in your opinion, is the second best cruiserweight in the world?
I definitely feel that he beats everyone else with a belt. So, yeah.
We're looking at what's next for yourself, and what can you tell us? Where do things sit with your career currently?
We're looking at. There's been talk about the 21st of September. There's a few dates flying around. There's nothing locked in at the moment, but that's one date that they bring up in London. So, we just keep training. We stay busy, and as soon as they lock in our date, bro, we get ready. So
you seem to be a little bit of a favourite of Turkey Al Sheikhs. Obviously, you've boxed on 3 cards out here now. What are you doing so right, Joy?
I don't know, man. I just try and focus on my own stuff, train hard, win my fights, and I think he just likes the way we handle business. So like I say, we earn respect, we don't disrespect, and that's just the way we try and carry ourselves.
You mentioned that Wembley card. Let's say that opportunity does come up and is sealed for yourself. How exciting of a prospect is that for you to box at Wembley Stadium?
Huge, man. It's massive to be a part of these big fights. My life's led to these big fights. I've been fighting since a little kid. My life's been moulded for these moments. So I'm finally here fighting in these big stadiums and stuff. So it feels really good.
We know they like to work quickly to try and get fights over the line. You're only 2 weeks on from your last fight. We're speaking hypothetically about the Wembley show on September 21st. So how quickly would you anticipate maybe moves to be made for a potential opponent for you to come up next?
Oh man, well, I'd love to fight anyone else with a belt. I would love to have a unification fight first. The winner of Riakporhe and Billam-Smith would be perfect. They're both from England, the UK, so I feel like it would be perfect sort of fit. But man, I just fight whoever they put in front of me. Really, you know what I mean? They just tell me fight on this date, and they give me a name. So that's who I got to fight.
I know you're not somebody who you don't target a name, you just want the belts. But the WBO belt in particular is something which seems to mean a little bit more to you. Why is that?
Yeah, it's just had little stories with it when I was growing up, with my pops. So I would love to get that WBO. That's definitely a belt that I'm gonna get before I fucking retire. So.
with Chris Billam-Smith and Richard Riakporhe, I know, again, we've done interviews in the past where you've said you're not somebody who sits there, watches every boxing show and studies every fighter, but as a cruiserweight champion yourself, a cruiserweight title on the line there, what's your thoughts on when they cross paths?
Man, I'm expecting a good fight. You know, these boys got a lot on the line, so, you know, I'm expecting maximum effort from both of them, you know. No quit or heart, so should be a good crack.
Have there either of these guys who you've watched at any point in previous bouts that they've had?
What do you mean? Say
Have
that
you
again?
watched either of them previously?
I've watched like bits of them come up, you know what I mean, but I haven't really sat there and watched the full fight. We watched like a bit of Billam-Smith fight. And yeah, I've seen Riakporhe fight before, but not too much. Like I haven't sat there and watched all their fights. No.
I know, again, going back to what I said previously, you're not somebody to sit there and call anybody out, but given Chris has boxed at a stadium before in Bournemouth, his hometown, he has a very good backing. He's now been world champion for a couple of fights. Do you feel like if he was to come through Richard, that might be a bigger fight for you as well?
It's not really something I think about, you know what I mean? Like I'm not sure. I just, like I said, I fight whoever they tell me to fight.
What about Zurdo Ramirez? He has the
Ramirez,
WBA belt.
yeah, the Mexican fella, yeah. Yeah, man. I'd love to fight him. You know, let's make it happen. You know, I'm not the type of guy to sit here and just call people out because, I don't know, you know, it means nothing. But I'll fight them. Like, why not? We want to fight for belts. Let's win belts.
I know we're talking about belts, Joy, but Turki Al-Sheikh's been quite, not insistent, but he's mentioned it a few times, a potential fight between yourself and Dmitry Bivol. Obviously, Dimitri's chasing undisputed at 175, but I asked him earlier in the week, and he said that it has been spoken about, but he's focusing on undisputed in his own weight class. Is it something you've spoken about as Turki come to you and said he wants to try and align a fight between yourself and Dmitry Bivol?
Yeah, he has. He even got me and Bivol together and said, I want you two to fight. Like, he's made it very clear, but, man, I'm open to that fight, you know what I mean? That's huge. A fight like that is like I believe I'm a great boxer, and I believe he's a great boxer, you know what I mean? I feel like this being a part of that fight is like a world title on its own, you know what I mean? So they're the type of fights I would love to be a part of, you know what I mean? That's a main event stadium sellout right there, you know, and just to where I've come from and the boxing that I've done as a kid, and, you know, like to be a part of a fight like that with the best in his division, the best in my division, like it's huge, you know what I mean? It means a lot to me to be a part of a fight like that, you know, and like just it's a fight that coaches will show their fighters and be like, look at this, you know, watch this chess match. So that's the fights that I used to be, you know, my dad used to force me to watch fights like that. So they're the fights that I would love to take part in.
What type of fight do you prefer? Do you prefer a kind of stand there, let your hands go type of fight, or do you prefer that chess match like you would have with somebody like a Dmitry Bivol?
Oh, man, whatever it takes to win, you know what I mean? But sometimes you can't stand there and bang with someone because they box you so well, you know? So you just got to be able to adapt to the style you're fighting. So that's what makes a great fighter, you know what I mean? Someone that's able to stay in the pocket and punch on when they need to, but also move and use the ring when they need to do that as well. That's the fighter I want to be. I want to tick every box.
Dmitry Bivol, he's obviously fighting on Saturday night, so I imagine you're going to have maybe one close eye on how he looks.
Yeah, for sure. I don't watch too many fighters, but Bivol's one fighter that I actually do like to watch, you know, and not even all his fights. Like, I watch his training videos and stuff like that, the way he moves his feet while he's punching.
What do you make of his footwork? Because his footwork is one of the best in the sport.
It's so awkward, you know. It's like, it's not a natural movement. It's something that he's done repetitively, that it's become natural to him. You know what I mean? Like, if he was to tell someone, you got to step like this and punch like this, they would do it and go, this doesn't even feel right. But because he's done those movements for so long, so many times, over and over again, it just comes so natural to him. So it's a beautiful art form to see, you know what I mean? From one boxer to another, I respect the time and effort he would have had to do You know what I mean? To get that sort of awkward movement and make it flow so naturally. So
that was going to be my next question. Obviously, his judging of a distance is fantastic, but every way that he throws a punch is just so fluid.
Yeah.
And you mentioned those awkward movements that he possesses. How do you kind of go about trying to find a way through that awkward style?
Well, I've got my own little awkward movements. You know, it's just the rhythm and being able to punch with him. Oh man, you know, I can sit here and say it all, but
You gotta keep some secrets.
yeah, hard. But he's not an easy fight, but bro, I'll beat him. I'll beat anyone.
Joe, obviously, we've spoken about Wembley. You were just asked in his previous interview about shows in Australia. We know Riyadh season's been taken, as you mentioned, Wembley. They've got a show in LA. Have you spoken again when we're going to go take a big show to Australia?
Well, I hope so. When I see the boys, the Sheik, I want to mention it to him, mate. We should have a Riyadh season fight in Australia for sure. You know, get all the Aussies, and we can just get everyone from international, just be Australia versus the world. So I would love to be a part of that.
Just two fights, quickly get your thoughts on before we wrap this up. Big heavyweight banger Saturday night, Deontay Wilder, Zhang. Any thoughts on it?
Man, that's going to be a good fight. Bro, both powerful men. Well, whoever lands their shots first is going to win.
Are you going to enjoy it? I imagine just being able to actually watch the fights as opposed to when you're boxing on a card. I imagine you have to just turn the TVs off. Nobody comes in telling you what's going on. Focus on what's going on for your own fight.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be able to just sit back and watch for a bit. But even when I'm out fighting nights, bro, I start getting sweaty and just, you know, you get toey and stuff when you're at the fights. But it'll be good. We'll be able to enjoy it a bit more than the other ones. So.
And then just final one, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk. I don't know if you managed to catch any or much of it at all. Chance to reflect. Can you have any thoughts now?
I haven't watched the whole thing properly. You know, I had to go to the hospital after my fight, so I only got to watch bits and pieces. And then ever since then, I've only watched bits and pieces. So I'd have to really sit down and watch it to give you my honest opinion. But you know, I'll hope the boys really level up and give us a better performance for the number 2.
Joy, it's a pleasure to catch up with you. Enjoy the weekend ahead, and I look forward to a fight announcement soon. And good luck with obviously the upcoming birth of your newborn.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Mick
it,
actually told me that it happens to be on the date when you first beat Mairis Briedis.
July 2nd when I first won my world title.
So the pressure's on your partner to make sure she delivers on the day and not early or late.
Yeah, no, it'll be good, man. Cheers, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Cheers.